see so many smiling faces on a Saturday. Thanks for coming. As was mentioned, I work for Google Chicago. I've been there now for about 4 years, and in that time, the engineering team's gone from about 8 people to about 80 people. And we've made some conscious decisions about how we want to promote and foster creativity with our engineers. So I'll be speaking specifically about engineering creativity. Now, Google has been known as being a creative company. This is sort of the outward face of Google. There's all sorts of artistic doodles, as we call them, that go up on the search page. You may have seen some of these. But what I'm going to talk about is the life of an engineer. Now, by a show of hands, how many people work or are going to school in the technology field of computer science? All right, great. And then, how many of you have done programming before? Okay, great. So for a lot of you, some of this, the beginning of this will, you'll recognize this. But for the rest of you, I want to try to give you an analogy for what it's like to be a programmer. So this is my world. So it's a black box with green text, and in it I write some Java. And I've been doing it now for about 18 years, actually. But what it really comes down to is what we're trying to build is sort of this story through puzzle pieces. You know what your pieces are, and you just have to kind of put them together in the right way, and it's all done through text, and you compile it and you run it, and that sort of thing. But this is actually a visual programming language called Scratch. And it was developed at the MIT Media Lab. Google took this and actually applied it to the Android phone. There's a program called App Inventor, where you actually program your phone using this model. And this is very analogous to what I do, and you can take everything that I write in that text box and pretty much present it in this form. Now what this does, there are puzzle pieces for sensors and there are puzzle pieces for logic. And this actually will take your GPS location and store it. And the little purple box in the bottom corner, calculate distance, will calculate how far you've come from the last time it took a GPS reading. And then that calculate distance puzzle piece kind of looks like this. And you just keep building these sort of things in order to create the product that you're trying to make. And so the math is all down at the bottom there. It gets a little hairy. You need to know which puzzle pieces to use. And it gets very big very quickly, so I kind of like my text box. Now, an analogy that works as well is sort of Lego boxes. There are a number of tools in a Lego box that you can then put together and you make something new, make something creative. But we always have to start with nothing. So I'm defining creativity in an engineering role as going from nothing to something. You're either bringing in all the tools, all the things that you've learned over the years, and you're trying to make something new. But it really always starts with nothing. So inspiration is really key, and inspiration and collaboration, as I'll describe throughout, is what we try to promote at Google. Click an issue. Technology. All right, so there's 2 phases of when we actually get down to trying to practice creativity, which is something that we try to do. So you go to the store, you buy a Lego box, and you get your Star Wars character, and you get all excited, and you rip out the plans, and then you find all the tools, and you put it all together, and you're finally done. You put Chewbacca in on the top. Now that is sort of the learning phase of basically any industry. You have to know what your tools are, and you follow a plan so you know how they all fit together. So that's analogous to us training people at Google to work with our internal tools. But then we'll sit around at the table and be like, now wouldn't it be great if this thing had wings? I mean, because then it could fly around, and I actually think if it had wings, the Empire could have won that battle. We're a bunch of big nerds. So we try to promote that, and one of the things that we've done is we'll have robot competitions. These are Lego Mindstorms, perhaps you've seen these. There are sensors, and then there are Lego pieces, and we'll get together in groups. This is Team Pork Chop. And everyone will collaborate, they'll kind of think of ideas, and this competition was a sumo wrestler robot competition. So this is an example of one of them in practice. Team Pork Chop did not win. Now, this all kind of boils back, if you want to go to the theory of it, to Constructivism. The simplest possible definition of that is learning by doing. So you have a mental model for how things should work. When you actually go to try to apply that model to the real world, if you have a failure in your model, you'll make that correction in your mind, and you'll change the way that you view the world at that point. That's sort of the base of Constructivism. And that moment where you have a failure and change your model, you're going to really learn from that. And those are the things that are going to stick. And so constructionist learning is a concept created by Seymour Papert from the MIT Media Lab. And he's also the father of those Lego Mindstorm kits. So it all sort of kind of ties into that concept. Now, another thing that we've done in the office is we've gotten 5,000 blockses. Now, a blocks is a pretty simple tool. It's just one tool. It's a cube that's kind of like a Lego made out of cardboard that you then put together. And we've got some brown ones and we've got some white ones, but they're all the same cube. So, I'd like to show some of the things that we do. And this is a passive form of creativity that just happens in the office all the time because those blockses are there. We've got some arches, and that's a finished arch. This is an octahedron. This was pretty creative. Somebody, this is somebody's desk that they've then built over and then hung the sign on. All right, so all of these activities really start with collaboration. So we try to make it so that in all the different things that we're doing, whatever we're building, you're always working with other people. There's no genius programmer who goes into his basement and puts a blanket over his head and he types out all of the next billion-dollar idea and then emerges and he says, "I've done it!" You're always working with people. So we say collaboration breeds creativity, and that's the reason that we're all here today as well, to share ideas. One. All right. This was an interesting one as well because somebody had laid out a piece of graph paper with how this should look, and then did 2 rows of it, and then 3 days later somebody came and saw it and like, oh, well, I'm going to build the rest of it. And that happens a lot at Google as well. Somebody will have a good idea, they'll package it up, put it in the corner, and if somebody wants to pick it up, they can. Now, the last part of the collaboration thing that we try to teach is every piece of code that we write for Google, as well as documents that we create or blog sites, goes through a review process. And you'll notice that this sort of permeates the Google Apps productivity suite. So Google Docs and those sort of things, there's always a way of creating a little comment on the side. And this is my big collaboration with Orson Welles, if you could read that. But we try to teach 2 things. One is just to continue to be nice and like in a brainstorming session, all ideas are good. But in this particular example, we also like to teach, keep your integrity. If you build something and you think it's really great, keep your integrity and those good things shall come. So with the last few moments here, what I'd like to do, just a quick plug for my group, the Data Liberation Front. It's very much in the mindset of don't be evil. It's about making sure that you can always have a copy of your Google data. We're not going to lock you in to Google. You should always be able to have your data freely available and pouncing around wherever you would like to go. We also have stickers. More puns. And so we had a creative session in which we wanted to promote our group through a YouTube video, which I'd like to show now. And I'll end with that. So we had the basis, this is our group. And this is what we came up with.
We are the Data Liberation Front. We've been working hard for the past 4 years to make it easy for you to take your data out of Google's products. Unfortunately, up till now, that's required that you take your data out one product at a time. Data. Data. Beta. For the past year, we've been working from a data center in an undisclosed location to bring you something new. Google Takeout. Takeout allows you to take your data out of multiple Google products in one convenient package. Data. 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 We hope you'll give it a try. We believe that if we make it easy for you to leave Google, we have to work just that much harder to make sure that you don't want to. We are the Data Liberation Front, and we're here to liberate your data.